10/2 of 2012. Markets have just closed. One of the things that we would like to feature again is Priceline. And last week and the week before that, but the week before last week, we were getting short up there at that 650 area. We had shorted Priceline during the earnings, and we knew it was going to come big off of the bottom, as it did. So I will show you the range on Priceline. Today was 628.67 down to 611.14. That's a $17.23 short, meaning that when you fall in value, you're making all of that money. And not only are you making that money, when you own the put options, that's the 650s that we had bought a while back when we were up at 649. And we've had great corrections in that bull run. It's pulled extremely back. It had only a $5 bounce off of the lows. But nonetheless, it's a featured short because when I go and show you the weekly chart right here, I'm going to type it in here. Here's a weekly chart on Priceline when we were popping those up here at that 650 area. So let's go back over here to Priceline 2012. And it was right here last week. We had the rally. This was a big earnings miss. And then we had this rally off the bottom here going long. And the high frequency model ran it right up to our target of 650 off of those lows. I had featured it several times in MMTs. Got one trade here. It was this one right here when we tested this last test of 650 is where it got up above there. So we hit it short because that was the major wall of resistance. And not only was it that, it already came off of the low over here of 568 back up to 650. So went straight down in the earnings and then came right back up and has a major reversal headed back down. Priceline has been a great trade, both shorting those contracted earnings last quarter and then coming off the bottom long because it's a bellwether, and how the high frequency would wind that up for 4 to 6 weeks to the high. And it was last week when we really started getting on about this short up here and that it was time to unload Priceline on the long side and get short. And it's paid because Priceline right now, as far as I'm concerned, is going to have new ranges. It's on the 10-week moving average. The 40-week moving average is down here on that, or 50-week moving average is going to be the lower end of that support level. That's going to be 605.90, about 606. That's this pink line down here. See, when we got up to the 20-week moving average, that was the wall of resistance on a weekly. Therefore, once we got here, our target was that when the stock went down during the earnings, it was time to buy to cover. That means you're out of the short and you're getting the call side to go up. And when it got to the 20-week moving average, that was a kiss goodbye. Now, let me just caution my MMTs. See that 10-week pointing down? Well, see, just like I did with Apple on the 50-day moving average, it had to test it. Well, this 50-week moving average is going to have to be tested. And if we close below the declining 10-week, then Priceline could go a lot lower. It will remain in a high-frequency model trading range, as I've said, and that's a high frequency in, both 628 to 611 and 611 back up. That's what high-frequency algorithmic programs do. And that's the Priceline update. I've already updated on how we called the 50-day moving average right there at the 650-65 area. And we got down there on that trading day. We said this early in the week, just like we said with Priceline. Once you got down there, that's where that support level would be. The shorts got walked up. You bounced $12 off of the bottom, and that is truly high-frequency algorithmic buy and sell scripts that happen with software programs. We're experts on them. We know how to identify them as it's not a fair playing field for you, but if you know how to identify it, you can put it in your favor. And once again, I'm going to conclude the big short on Priceline, just like Apple was. And there's been several of them. CMG was one of our, we said it was going up to 350. We had the calls a couple of weeks ago. We cashed them in. It was time to get short. They had missed their earnings. Today, the stock had a $29.72 range, and it got down to 290 where it was buyable. And once again, high frequency, that's $12 off the bottom. And CMG did it, and so did Apple, and Google did $7 off the bottom. There are lots of high beta algorithmic program and buy and sell scripts. Once again, it's been a wonderful day. It's been a wonderful update on Priceline. Wonderful trade on Priceline.